Oftentimes, the deepest struggles are what define a person's character, showing themselves and the world how strong and determined they can really be. In 1994, Dr. Sherry Fieber-Beyer's life was turned upside down when she was a passenger in a vehicle rollover accident, causing paralysis from the neck down. Over the next year, she regained control of her arms and partial use of her fingers and trunk. Although making this progress, she would never be able to walk again. But Dr. Fieber-Beyer remained strong with ambition and forged ahead with research and education to become financially, and to the maximum extent, physically independent. Dr. Fieber-Beyer was driven to obtain a Bachelor of Science, Master of Science, and PhD in the hard sciences. Since then, Dr. Fieber-Beyer has devoted her life to teaching graduate students the art of scientific space research. More specifically, she devotes her life to teaching students how to be universally sufficient at specific research, analysis, observational, presentation, and scientific writing techniques, which will allow them to become strong, diverse scientists and educators. From early in her career, she has counseled female students with respect to concerns for opportunities, roadblocks, and uncertainties for women in the STEM fields. Currently the director of the observatory at the University of North Dakota, Dr. Fieber-Beyer is in a very small group of research scientists. She is among 135 PhD scientists in the field of physics and astronomy that are disabled. Females with STEM degrees account for approximately 29% of the total science and engineering workforce. Disabled doctoral recipients in the physical sciences total 1,306 nationwide. Throughout the years, she has shown immense grit and heart, overcoming adversity while pursuing her passion in astronomy. Professors at MSUM remember her diligence and tenacity, traits that have stayed with her in every stage of life. Her career ambitions and accomplishments have gone on to be a beacon of hope to women and the disabled, encouraging them to shoot for the stars and accomplish success among all aspects of life. After 35 years in a successful career teaching students in kindergarten through college, Jeff Hagen retired in 2000, but continued to thrive as an artist whose work is known regionally and nationally. With collections on display in the United States and Europe, Hagen's art continues to capture the attention of audiences around the world. As a watercolorist for 51 years, he has had over 125 juried art fairs in mid-America and received several Best of Shows. His paintings have even been selected for inclusion in Watercolors USA. Hagen has also succeeded as an award-winning author with more than 8 books to his credit. Listen to Maggie Shapiro-Haskett, a former student of Jeff Hagen's.
Hi, Mr. Hagen. I was a student in your 7th grade art class at Van Hise Middle School in Madison, Wisconsin in 1987 and 88. I've forgotten the vast majority of middle school, but all these years later, I still remember the way the light slanted into your room as we drew perspective street scenes, the way our kneadable erasers smelled, and the way you quietly talked us through the meticulous process of laying out streets and buildings with a ruler and pencil. I probably still could turn out a passable perspective drawing, but more than that, I'm grateful for the oasis of peace and beauty you created for us in the midst of middle school tumult. I thought of you tonight when my 10-year-old son, Ben, showed me a perspective drawing he had just completed, under the guidance of his own art teacher, also a Jeff, coincidentally. I suggested he Google you, and we were both delighted by your paintings. After a good while spent looking at your work and then Googling other perspective drawings, Ben sat down and carefully inked over his drawing, adding details. He is now eager to show his teacher tomorrow and try a street scene for himself. His drawing was the interior of our house, as if an exterior wall had been removed, looking from one room through to those beyond. So I wanted to say thank you for the time and energy you invested in us at Van Hise, for the art you've sent out into the world, and for the inspiration you continue to be for the next generation of artists. Nothing could be better than the look on my son's face when he saw your paintings and imagined a new place for himself in the world, following in your footsteps. With gratitude, Maggie Shapiro Haskett.
After Hagen retired 18 years ago, he quickly switched his focus to volunteering. At his church, he learned about mission work in Hazard, Kentucky, right in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains. While they typically did Habitat for Humanity work, he asked the mission representative what else they needed. Upon finding out they were in need of an art teacher, Hagen joined the mission team in the summer of 2011. In his professional endeavors, he made it his mission to teach technical skills and ignite an inner spark of creativity, discovery, and confidence. Hagen has always had a heart for helping youth discover new passion in their lives through art. Using his experience, knowledge, and skills, he began instilling creativity and a sense of self-worth in his new students. Since he started, Hagen has amassed nearly 20 solo trips to the impoverished heart of Appalachia, including 6 visits in 2017, all on his own dime and time. Since childhood, Sue Kesterman had a dream to go into the ministry. Although it was postponed, Kesterman realized her desire to enter the ministry would never be satiated until she pursued this dream. Years after getting married, having children, working in manufacturing, and helping out with the music ministry at her church, she went back to school and graduated from MSUM with a degree in philosophy in 2003. Following her bachelor's degree, she acquired her Master of Divinity from Luther Seminary in St. Paul. When she turned her life upside down to pursue her passion, she expected the end result to be a call to a 2- or 3-point rural parish in Otter Tail County. Instead, she uprooted her family to accept a call at Elam Lutheran Church in downtown Fargo, across the street from the recycling center, right by the Northern Strip Club. Working downtown made her wonder about the strangers passing by her window. Kesterman frequently visited with people from the neighborhood who were in crisis or experiencing homelessness, and knew of several people who died of exposure. This led her to volunteer Elam to be one of the first organizations to provide overflow shelter for the homeless, and to become one of 3 founding coordinators of the FM Sheltering Churches project. Kesterman soon felt led to become the executive director at Churches United for the Homeless. As the leader of Fargo-Moorhead's largest homeless shelter, she juggles multiple hats, managing a gifted 27-member team. Under her leadership, they have managed to reduce the average length of stay with effective case management, eliminate the cycle of homelessness by reducing the number of overflow guests, and complete the 43-unit Bright Sky apartment complex in North Moorhead. Looking back, Kesterman said, "I realize God's been lining things up for a long time in ways that brought me to this point. I have no idea what the future holds, but this is where I belong now." Oluwaloni, Timi, Giwa-Tubosun was born in Ila-Arungun in Osun State, Nigeria, to a university professor and a school teacher. When she was 10, her parents won a U.S. diversity immigrant visa and left for the United States. At 15, she left to join them and attended Osseo Senior High in Minnesota. She then attended MSUM and graduated in 2007 with a degree in political science. The following year, she went on to graduate school at Middlebury Institute of International Studies at Monterey. In 2009, she returned to Nigeria for the first time since 2001 to intern for the Department for International Development at Paths 2. During the internship, she had an encounter with a poor mother whose protracted labor convinced Giwa of the problem of maternal mortality among Nigerians. In January 2010, she pursued a graduate fellowship at the World Health Organization in Geneva, Switzerland. That following August, she began a fellowship with the Global Health Corps and spent the next year in Uganda, working with the Millennium Villages Project, a project of the United Nations Development Program and Millennium Promise. A year later, Giwa returned to Nigeria and married her husband, Kaula. For a year, Giwa worked with the Lagos State Office of Facility Management, whose work included upgrading schools, monuments, hospitals, and other facilities managed by the state. In January 2016, Timi founded the Life Bank, a business organization set up to tackle the problem of blood shortages in Nigeria. The founding was inspired by the birth of her first child and the complications from that experience. The technology and logistics company is based in Lagos and incubated at Co-Creation Hub in Yaba. As of January 2017, the company has helped deliver over 2,000 pints of blood to patients across the state. In 2016, she met with Mark Zuckerberg during his first visit to Nigeria. She was one of the 2 women Zuckerberg referenced in his town hall meeting the next day, saying her model could impact not just Nigeria, but countries all around the world. From the time he started at MSUM after graduating from Moorhead High School, Mike Benson was interested in pursuing an education in business. As a student, Benson worked for Bob Ludeman at Moorhead Paint and Glass and painted barns during the summers to help pay for college. Benson graduated from Moorhead State in 1971 with a degree in marketing and was hired by Hartford Insurance Company in Minneapolis before transferring to Chicago and then Milwaukee. 2 years later, Benson moved back to the Fargo area as a special agent traveling through North Dakota and northwest Minnesota. Benson went on to join Warner & Company in 1974 as an insurance producer and eventually a stockholder. In 1979, Benson was a calling volunteer with the first phone-a-thon for the MSUM Alumni Association. He was the most successful calling fundraiser of the group. He was named vice president of Warner & Company in 1990, and 2 years later, he was named president of the Fargo Lions Club. In 1998, Mike received the Melvin Jones Award for his work done alongside other Lion volunteers in creating the Lions Conservancy Park in Fargo. Although Benson retired in 2010, he remains busy volunteering with SCORE and being an active member of the MSUM Paseka School of Business Advisory Board. Over the years, Benson has kept his ties with MSUM strong, serving on the alumni board from 1979 to 1981 and helping plan the TEAC 50th anniversary reunion. He is currently working on a Paseka School of Business history project. Throughout the volunteer opportunities he's participated in, Benson said, "Giving back is important. It's the right thing to do."